Woody the Unexceptional Gamer bringing you the patch update that so many of you have asked for. So, the quick note about the game, this is me on a stacked team from before the game even came out. Good times. Now, the last video I put out about patches, annotation on the screen will open it in a new window so you can keep watching this. But what I do is I talk about the patch and the step backwards that they took, right? They tried to put out a patch that addressed some lag and some latency, and the world spoke with one united voice and said, no, 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 this is not better, this is worse. So they were cool in that they reacted quickly and they rolled back out their patch. Whatever they tried to do didn't quite work out, and they said, all right, we're not going to make you suffer on this patch for the next week. Instead, we're going to give you what you liked more and come up with a new patch later. I've written a lot of code. I get that not all code you write is perfect, and I would rather them have us run on the better old code than make us sit on the crappy new code until they come up with even newer code, which is what they did. So that's really cool. That's actually one of the big things in this new patch, lag and latency. So there are two things that happen in this game that frustrate people. One, and this has especially hit our PS3 friends the hardest, is the frames dropping. So, you're walking, you're playing, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, the screen jumps in a way that it wasn't supposed to. Things became unsmooth, and, nobody likes that, right? You don't want that. And apparently, for whatever reason, on the PS3, those guys suffered the most. Well, maybe those guys will benefit the most from this patch. I looked around Twitter, I looked around, different forums and stuff, and tried to collect all my information, and it seems like the general reaction to this new patch addressing latency is a winner, that things have gotten better than they are before. Now, I'll check out the comments and see what you guys think, but and also it's a little quick to tell. Sometimes you can't tell just in one night of gaming session, because maybe the hosts you got that night were all awesome, or they all sucked, and that's that. But if you play for a couple days, then you'll get a vibe for whether or not things got better or got worse. And if you like so many, it's hard to overlook the bad stuff, right? It almost seems like when everything goes your way, that's the way it was supposed to go, and when things don't, then this game sucks. They don't have it fixed until my KD approaches infinity. But back on topic, the frame dropping should be better now than it ever was before. They recognize it as a problem that's going to be in this patch, and there we are. The other thing is bullet registration. So this game has tried to break new ground in bullet registration. And by that, it used to be the host always had the best connection to host, right? Quite obviously. And now they've changed it in such that, the host, if everybody has a bad connection to them, then your connection is kind of delayed as well. Or even if you're not host, even if you just have a really beastly connection, they take your connection and kind of downgrade it and make it worse than it was before, in an effort to give everybody a fair shot. And sometimes, that works beautifully and everyone's on level playing field, and other times it doesn't work beautifully, and that's that. Now, I think sometimes maybe people who were used to having amazingly great connections and don't anymore, they're brought back down to earth, like some of us have been, well, not some, I have a good connection right now, but guys have been suffering with forever. They suddenly say, oh, this game's the worst ever. And it's like, actually, it might have just become fair. You might have just never seen this side of Call of Duty before. You might have always had the jump on the bad guys, and now you don't. But anyway, back on topic, they have changed it again, and it looks like they hit their mark. It looks like bullet registration is better than it used to be. People are happy with what they're seeing, and that's a good thing. There is two of the biggest things that are in this patch so far. The frame rate drop thing is supposed to be better than it was before. You guys let me know what you think. And the bullet registration is supposed to be better than it was before. And don't even, you can let me know what you think. I'm always interested. But try to keep in mind that you can't tell if these things got better just by playing for an hour. You need to have as many hosts as you've seen in the past, right? You need to have at least a decent sample size of whether or not things are getting better or getting worse. So I just want to throw that out there. Don't be too quick to judge. Let's get some time in this game and see what's going on. If you're like me, you spent Thanksgiving with your family and didn't game as much as you do on a normal day, but heck, you might be different. So that's that. The other thing, they changed. So last time, I was silly. Last time I mentioned, if you're in Czechoslovakia, then, you can only play with other people from Czechoslovakia. And everyone got on me. Woody, Czechoslovakia is a bad example because that country is gone. So let me apologize for using Czechoslovakia. But as a better example, if you were in the Roman Empire, then you could only play with other people from the Roman Empire. If you were from the Greek Empire, you could only play with other people from the Greek Empire. And this would suck, right? There were people from Prussia who were used to playing with Romans, And those guys were all locked in, and they couldn't play like they wanted to. They could only play from people within their own country, their own empire, etc. And no one wanted to play with the Mongolian hordes because those guys just cursed into their Xbox Live mics constantly. But now it doesn't go like that. Now people aren't region locked. Look at me tubing. Now people aren't region locked in the same way that they once were. Now people from one empire are playing with their friends from the other, and things are really cool. So for those of you that I know, like if you're from America or the UK or whatever, then you might not even know about this issue because it wasn't impacting you. But you know, if you're from Czechoslovakia, Prussia, Mongolia, then these things were a big deal because it was almost like a region-locked DVD where you could only play with people in your own non-existent countries and empires. So now it's better. Now people, are able to play with other guys around the world, and it's more based on connection and latency and the things that it should be based than region lock codes, like artificial lines on a map somewhere. So that's a good thing. And for the guys that were impacted by this was a huge deal, and now it's better for them. Another change, another fix I should mention, is that the vault slots are back. So what would happen is, people were getting these amazing clips or whatever. They have their 6 kills, collateral, sniper, whatever, and they put it in their elite vault slot as save this game clip, and then they lost it, or seemingly lost it. Members have 24 open vault slots, and they would put these great clips in there, and then they'd come back after the patch was rolled back, and they say, oh no, my stuff is gone, this stinks. And it wasn't really gone. It was still on the servers over at Infinity Ward or Sledgehammer or whatever, but they couldn't access it anymore, so it might as well have been gone. But it's better than actually being gone, because now that the patch is out, they have access to their stuff again. So that's really good. People had clips that meant a lot to them, and now they're back. This is the thing that affected elite members. And then the last thing is this, stat loss prevention. So I put out a video before this game even came out and said, look, I was level like 25 or 27, and I got knocked all the way down to level 1, right? Instant leaderboard, like out of the running, just gone. So and some guys thought it was some sort of devious trick to stop people from dashboarding, but that's not the truth. The truth is, it's just like all my videos, right? They're meant to either entertain, inform, or help, or whatever, and it really happened to me twice. So people have been having other forms of stat loss where, they had their great night, they move their KD from 1.81 to 1.87, and they come back the next day, and suddenly, they're back to where they were. They've went from level 65 to 75, and they're excited about the progress that they made on their way up through the prestige ranks. And now all of a sudden they're bummed that, they're back to where they were before. All their progress had been lost. And I don't know if these guys were dashboarding. I don't know if they just got unlucky or what happened. Power outage, who knows? Network loss. But these guys were losing their stats. They were going backwards, and they were really bummed about it. So stat loss prevention should be in this patch. It shouldn't be impacting people the way that it used to be. We'll see, right? It's not like it happened every game, or that it's something that's easy to replicate and see, yes, this is fixed or this is not fixed. But I do know that it was in this patch that they tried to put this stat loss prevention in there. Woohoo! Top lobby. And so that's it. A quick recap. Crouch walk in and aim down sights now is fixed and silent like it's supposed to be. Lag has been addressed in terms of like frame rate drops and smooth screenplay. Latency has been addressed in terms of hit registration. Region locking for those poor guys stuck in the Roman Empire, only playing with other Roman Empire people. Elite members have their 24 vault slots. Stat loss prevention is back into the game. There are some issues with super fast lobbies and super slow lobbies, but maybe I'll leave that in another video. Have a good day. Alright, 2 videos you may have missed, both from subscriber requests. So the top one, White Boy 7th Street, had been robbed. Everyone asked me to do a video talking about it. I talk about his robbery. I talk about some robbery experiences of my own. The video has been really well received, so I hope that you guys like that. The bottom video is a CM901 rapid fire follow-up. So CM901 doesn't actually have rapid fire, but if you use certain attachments, it increases the rate of fire. And some guys asked me to test some more attachments, specifically, hey, if you use those magic ones and my favorite ones, like a red dot or a silencer, do you still get the super fast rapid fire? So I test that out for you and I put up a video and let you know. You can check those out. If you enjoy this stuff, subscribe in the top right, surprise video on the side, and the description will have links for t-shirts, Facebook, Twitter, and more. Have a nice day, guys.